For Hallmark One, I chose to perform the curriculum audit on 8th grade math, in particular at Brunswick County Academy, their math classroom. Some of the positives that I gained from the audit was the amount of technology available to the students at the school and in the classroom, the material piece, smart boards, mini whiteboards, large whiteboards. Also, the teacher working condition survey showed that teachers, for the most part, have autonomy in making classroom decisions, whether it's programs or their instructional techniques. In fact, not one teacher in the building said that they do not have that ability. 76% of them strongly agreed that they have the ability to choose their instructional techniques, and 71% said that they have the ability to choose their instructional materials. So with that, a lot of responsibility was placed in the teacher's hands to perform, because they are able to get what they need and do what they want, so to speak. One of the negative findings from the assessment was in the Brunswick County Schools pacing guide. The curriculum guides were very succinct. They definitely covered all of North Carolina's Common Core standards. With the pacing guide and the sequencing of that, there was one piece that I would like to possibly suggest a change for, and that was the geometry section. They have a geometry section that is at the beginning of the year. They spend an entire 9 weeks on it, a little too long for the amount of questions presented on the end of grade test, especially at the beginning of the year. I would suggest taking that piece, condensing it down to 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, around the Thanksgiving area time to Christmas break. The rest of the objectives were number sense and equations. Now, there were different types of equations, from linear to two-step, three-step, Pythagorean theorem, but they were all number sense relative. And so by starting off with the number sense at the beginning of the year, a foundation expectation would be set, and it would give the teachers the tools needed and the data needed to know where the students are at to prepare them for the rest of the year. By waiting until the second semester to have a better grasp on the students' true understanding of number sense, which is the foundation for equations, it kind of puts them behind the 8 ball, so to speak. So I would suggest moving number sense up to the beginning and putting geometry around that Thanksgiving area to Christmas time, and maybe shortly after Christmas, during those 2 weeks before the second semester switches over. It's kind of a hectic time of the year, and by doing that, the kids get a little mental break from numbers, crunching numbers all the time, and they get those visual geometry skills that they like and seem to be more engaged in. So that would be the one pacing as far as the curriculum guide and the curriculum implementation is concerned, the one change that I would make. Also, with the instruction piece, I noticed there was a lot of direct instruction, very little interaction, active student learning. One of the supplemental materials was Study Island that each student had access to on their laptops. The school is a one-to-one school as far as laptops are concerned, but the Study Island assessments were not of the rigor expected for 8th grade students. Looking at some data last year, we found that the Study Island assessments, students scored about 20% higher on those than they did on the teacher's unit test. Students also scored on average much higher and were more proficient on more Study Island standards than they were on the North Carolina end of grade test. Now, this correlation definitely shows that Study Island is easier, it is not of the same rigor, and therefore students and teachers are kind of getting data that's not relative. It is a great tool to use and maybe building up some of those skills, but the rigor is not there. So one of the suggestions was to get a better program in place to utilize on the computers that is of the same rigor and expectations that of the 8th grade Common Core standards and assessments. That was just a few of the suggestions. You watched the slideshow previous to this, kind of a summary of that. It was definitely one of the harder projects that I've had to do yet. I think most of all because it was tough to separate the instruction piece and the curriculum piece. Those two often blended together for me, and it was tough just to focus on what was supposed to be being taught as far as the curriculum. Anyways, there was a lot of great things that I've learned. Definitely some things I'll do different next time. It was one of the most beneficial hallmarks that I've had to do yet as far as learning the most throughout this process.